How do you get this to sound more like this? Hi, I'm Luke from Become a Bassist, and in this bass lesson, you're going to get 4 super practical ways to get an upright sound from your electric bass without changing your bass, your strings, or any of your gear at all. Welcome to Become a Bassist, where it's all about no BS bass lessons designed to get you playing better bass, having more fun, and becoming the best bassist that you know you can be. And today, it's all about how to get an upright sound from your electric. Now, they might have a similar function, but the sound of the electric bass and the upright bass are very, very different. Check it out. Here's a bunch of Fs on an upright. And the same thing from an electric. What's the difference in sound? 2 things I notice. First of all, the electric has a lot more high-end information, more treble basically. This is especially true if you're using roundwound strings. They're really, really bright. And secondly, the upright is a lot more explosive. There's this massive kind of explosion of sound at the start of the note and kind of a very quick decay, whereas the electric bass isn't as explosive, but it has a very long decay, a long tail. In fact, you can see it in the waveforms of each. Check this out. The top one is an upright bass, big explosion, and then a quick decay, and then underneath the electric that has that super, super long tail on it, right? So if you want to sound more like an upright bass on your electric, you have to do 2 things. You have to, first of all, darken up your sound, and you have to shorten up your notes, cut off that long tail that the electric has. And yes, you can do both of these things on your electric without changing strings or basses or anything else about your gear. Just a few simple tweaks is all you need. The first thing you can do instantly is make a tiny change in your technique. Just pluck your notes closer to the neck or even right on the neck like this. See how I'm like right up on the neck right here? This is going to give you a much darker sound than if you were plucking, somewhere in the middle. And definitely darker than if you plucked all the way down at the bridge. Have a listen to the difference. At the bridge, in the middle, and on the neck. Which one sounds the most like an upright bass? It's the one on the neck, right? You don't hear upright basses with like this kind of bite that you get back here on the bridge. Such a small change in technique, but a huge difference in sound, just like that. Of course, the next thing you can do is darken up your sound a little bit using your onboard electronics on your bass. Now, if it's as simple as just a tone knob for you, then just try turning it down a little. On this bass, I've got independent treble and bass control, so I can simply turn the treble down a little until it sounds roughly, turn it all the way down, maybe not that much, until it sounds roughly like I want it to. Now that sounds kind of more uprighty to me. Now depending on your electronics, this might take a bit of fiddling, but once you know how to get the sound you want, you can just use it and kind of set it for the rest of your life. The next way to sound like an upright on electric is to use a technique called palm muting. This is where you're semi-muting the strings using kind of this part of your hand, and it looks like this. Yeah, see how doing this cuts that long tail off the notes on an electric, makes it sound a bit more uprighty. Hear how the muting of the palm right here, it shortens all the notes up, and that's exactly what you want. Now this can take a bit of getting used to. You have to kind of pluck the strings at a different angle if you're using your index or middle fingers, and you can even sometimes use the thumb. But this is exactly what we need to do to make the notes shorter. Palm muting is a great way to do it. The last thing I want to show you is almost like cheating. It darkens up your sound, makes the notes thumpier, and takes away the really long sustained tail without ever really needing to change your technique. So what's the secret? Something like this little guy right here. This is just a piece of, this one's actually a kitchen sponge, but you can use any kind of semi-hard foam. You don't really need much of it at all. I literally cut this one off a kitchen sponge over here and then took the little scary part off. And I'll show you how it works right now. All you need to do is just kind of jam it in between your bridge and your first pickup. I haven't got much space in between mine, but that's all right. You just kind of scooch it down in there, pull it through. Make sure there's contact on each of the 4 strings, otherwise it'll sound really weird if there's like one string that's vibrating normally and the rest aren't. And I'm not sure if you can see this, but this is actually like coming up over the strings, and it sounds like this, even if we don't change technique at all. And that's plucking in the middle. If you pluck at the neck, yeah? Have a listen to the difference. This is what we started with. And this is what we have now. And this is what we were going for. It's pretty good, right? Obviously, if you're playing electric bass, it's never going to sound 100% like an upright, but what we've done here so far, it's pretty solid. Now, if you're trying to get an upright sound, then you might be trying to play some bluegrass or acoustic music, or you're trying to sound more authentic in your jazz walking bass lines. And if that sounds like you, then you have to check out my video 5 plug and play walking bass line formulas right here. These are walking bass line formulas the absolute best bass players in the world use all the time. So if you're ready to take your walking game to the next level, I'll see you in that video right there.